Okay, it's September 3rd, 2024. I'm speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, and we just answered about 16 or 17 text messages that he had. And we're going to read his book. We're on chapter 16, a few pages left, and then we're going to run it right into 17. So did you want me to do a little reading so we can catch up to chapter 17?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just read a couple pages here, and let's see how we do. This is chapter 16. It's titled Civilian Life Once Again, page 484. Mr. Jeckovich's book is about 900 pages, and Mr. Jeckovich was in Company H, 2nd Battalion, 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of World War II, and he was a Purple Heart recipient and 2 Bronze Stars. Both of them would give me the silent treatment, not talking to me directly, but he would talk to one another.
Who's this?
I think you're talking about your mother giving you the silent treatment.
Yeah, and mother and father.
Yeah, well, I think your father's dead at this point, but let me just read it and maybe I can catch up to him. Both of them would give me the silent treatment. I think you're referring to your sister Sally and your mother.
My mother gave me the silent treatment too.
Yeah, not talking to me directly. Okay, this is a good part. But would talk to one another using me as a third person.
Yeah.
For example, your mother would ask your sister, Sally, ask your brother if he's going to pick me up from work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or will he be too busy?
Yeah.
And so you're a third person.
Yeah, all that snotty stuff, yeah.
This would go on for days, and no let up on their part. They wouldn't give in. They would just keep going.
Yeah.
Like you weren't in a room. This was the same type of treatment my late father received, with me siding with my mother on all issues. So your mother also gave your father the silent treatment.
Yeah.
And then you were the middle person. You would have to say, Father, your wife wants to know this or that.
Mom wants to know this, yeah.
And now I was on the receiving end, and Sally was a collaborator. This tactic frustrated me to no end, and I had no way of counteracting it. It must have frustrated your father, too.
Oh, yeah.
It must have really made
frustrated him. Well, we slept in the garage in the Packard for a while.
What do you mean by that? You slept in the garage?
Well, my mother said, well, let's stay in the house, let's go to the garage. I said, Mom, it's middle of winter. She said, I'll put the heat. I said, you'll suffocate us in there.
Yeah.
And let's stay here. No, let's go. Get your blanket.
And how long did you sleep in a car for?
I mean, one day, and she had enough. She said, all right, let's go back home.
So how was the sleeping arrangement? Did you sleep in the front seat and your mother in the back?
No,
Let me shut this off.
I think we slept in the back seat. We put covers on both sides, on both of us.
Was it really a cold night?
Yeah, it was cold winter. It was a cold winter.
Did your father come out and get you?
No.
He didn't?
No.
He was stubborn too then?
Huh?
He was stubborn too then? He wasn't a give in?
Yeah, I think we did that 2 nights and that was enough.
Your mother said that's
enough. Yeah. She had to go home and fix breakfast and get out of that stupid garage.
Lookie would never get into discussion, but would sneer whenever this subject was brought up. What do you mean by him sneering? Lookie sneering.
What do you want? What do you want with that? That's nonsense.
So he didn't try to solve any problems.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get away from the problem.
Yeah. It's always trying to ridicule it.
What's that?
I mean, you say, look, we're worried about this. There's no problem. I gotta go. Go cry.
So he didn't try to solve a problem.
No.
Okay, let's see. He was aloof and apathetic, and in many ways his actions were similar to those of most people that I worked with. So his actions were similar to the people you worked with at
Well, I had to pick him up. He ran away every other day.
Where would he run away to?
He run down to Painted Post.
And what, did he have friends there or something?
Huh?
Did he have friends at Painted Post?
No, he just hooked up there. Probably some restaurant did something down there. I had to go down and pick him up.
And how many miles was Painted Post from Niagara Falls?
I'd say 30 miles. He hitchhiked out there.
And so he got pretty good rides.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do when you found him?
Took him home.
And did he go home willingly?
Yeah.
So there was no problem. He was ready to go
Yeah,
home.
I said, no more running away now. Stop it.
And he stopped it?
Well, he got more mature, yeah.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah, he's a good guy. Okay, let's see. He was still going to school, but I never knew what kind of progress he was making. I did not even know if he contributed anything financially to upkeep the family, inasmuch as he did not have a regular job or source of income. But there was never much said about this, and he would go and do as he pleased, impervious to anything that did not concern him directly.
Who are you talking about?
Looky, your brother.
Looky, how about Stevie?
You didn't say that point yet. I'll read down. Maybe I can find it. The contest of the wills went on all summer, and there was never any justifiable reason given why I should not go to school in the fall. Action was never discussed rationally. Instead, Mother would sulk and become moody and bad-tempered, and Sally would only mimic her actions. By the time enrollment came around, I decided against going, thinking perhaps next year I would attempt it again. Just the thought of going full-time to school and returning home at night to the hostility and the constant nagging it would bring out was too much for me to bear. So if you went to school and you came home at night, what would it be like?
Well, they'd have supper, and then he had homework or something, and my mother would clean up, and my father would watch the radio or go outside, work outside.
No, I meant when you're home now, your father's dead, you're out of the service. If you did enroll in school and you came home at night, what would that be like?
Well, he didn't know how much I'd do good or well at school.
Well, what would your mother say about you going to school? If you did enroll in school after you got out of the service.
You mean hooking?
No, what would your mother say about you going to school? Would she be pleased with you going to school or angry that you went to school?
I was still in public. I was still in
when you got out of
schools.
When you got out of service. When you got out of service.
No, I didn't go to school. No.
But if you did go to school, was your mother against you going to school?
Yeah, because I wasn't making an income.
Okay, so she would have been angry at you. That's what I was getting to. Okay. But there was never much said about this, and would go and do as he pleased, impervious to anything that did not concern him directly. Let's see. Mother would sulk and become moody and bad-tempered, and Sally would mimic her actions. By the time enrollment came to school, I decided against going, thinking perhaps next year I'd get attempted again. Just the thought of going full-time to school and returning home at night to all the hostility and the constant nagging it would bring out was too much for me to bear. Eventually, the entire episode was forgotten, and I once again lost the opportunity to do something for myself. I regretted my action to come in years to come and blamed myself for these actions on my lack of character and the will to succeed. I took several more courses during the evening, but when the semester ended, I did not return. My motivation had receded. Besides, at the rate I was going, I would have to go to night school at least 5 years to earn a degree. Things became relatively quiet at home. Mother had gotten her way, and I was still doing everything around the house and contributing monetarily to the upkeep of the family and working full-time. So now you're working at Kimberly-Clark.
Yeah.
Okay. Looky was still living at home, going a separate way, and not much was ever said about it. It was pretty much left to his own devices. So you're working at Kimberly-Clark, and your other brother is at home and not working.
Yeah. No, where did he work? Work at the bowling alley.
Well, that's a hard job.
Yeah, that was night work.
Yeah, that was pin settings. That's a hard job. A very noisy job. I knew I was giving in to Mother's dominant will and temper tantrums, and I felt inferior in doing so, but somehow I could never do it otherwise. Minutes?
20.
I did not have the fortitude or penchant to look out for my own self-interest as my brothers did. Even though saying here was to be, I stayed and endured because I believed I was duty-bound and owed it to my mother for my past transgressions, namely being responsible for the death of my father. As much as I understood this motivation and knew it to be a falsehood, I could not emotionally detach myself from its stigma. It clouded and distorted everything I attempted to do. Worse yet, it got me into a fixated state of mind which was frustrating to all my conscious efforts. What was most revealing was my mother's attitude regarding this matter. She understood my predicament, but chose instead to capitalize on my weakness. She would go to the extreme and hold me to my abbreviations. The work environment at the mill did not help either. I was always looking for different avenues to vent out my aspirations. Some of the people my age would pester me every opportunity to go with them after work for a drink at the local tavern.
Red Spot.
What was it called?
Red Spot.
Is that close to the factory?
Yeah. Half a block away.
Did you ever go to the Red Spot?
No.
What? And almost all the workers went to the Red Spot?
Yeah.
How would they work the next day if they were drinking all night?
I don't know.
That must have been hard.
Yeah, you're used to it.
How can they drink all night then go to work? And that was a common thing.
Yeah.
Didn't they spend most of their take-home pay on this Red Spot?
Do what?
Didn't these workers spend a lot of their take-home pay at the Red Spot?
No, they after work they go there. It's probably stay an hour, drink a couple of beers, and shoot the shit, and then go.
And what
They
would
wouldn't stay there 2, 4, 5 hours. Go.
So what would they do there?
Just gossip with their fellow workers.
But they were with the fellow worker all day.
Wow.
Oh, Lord. All right, let's see where the hell I was here. Where the hell? Okay. At every opportunity to go with them after work to drink at the local tavern and play shuffleboard, which was a favorite pastime. Naturally, I would refuse, and after a while, they would take offense at my determination and exclude me from their inner circle. So because you weren't going there drinking, they just bumped you.
I wasn't a drinking buddy.
Didn't they also have a bowling league?
Yeah, they had a bowling league, yeah.
And where was
They had a
that?
softball league too.
They had everything.
Yeah.
Did you ever participate in them?
No.
Was drinking always taking place at those places too?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you say you went to a game with your brother and there was a bottle of whiskey?
Oh, that was in Pittsburgh.
What happened?
Then we went to a football game. University of Pittsburgh was playing some other college, and Steve had his car, and had some other guy with him, and we went. He said, "Let's drive it. Let's sit in the car because it's gonna be cold in the stadium. I'll have the heater on."
And then what happened?
And then he went out and put his arm over his front seat. And we got a bottle of cognac and something else they were drinking.
And they both drank it?
Yeah.
Wow. You didn't have any, right?
Huh?
You didn't have any, right? Did you have to drive them home?
Huh?
Did you have to drive them home?
No, they wouldn't. They didn't get drunk. They just sip on it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
They didn't get drunk like Rookie.
That was different.
Yeah.
Wow. After a while, there's a bond of kinship created and nurtured among this group, and they went on and found myself being eliminated from my personal functions at the mill. So because you weren't bowling or playing softball or drinking at the Red Spot, they didn't want to know you. There are some small items like changing shifts with someone for a personal reason or covering one's job for a time while we were occupied with some other task. It also included an inside track on the latest mill gossip, prospective promotions, or even standing in good graces with the foreman or the supervisor.
You mean at the mill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was left to do my job, which I performed well, but was never recognized for my effort, where areas someone who performed in a mediocre fashion was immediately rewarded, even though he did not deserve it. The difference was, here's the difference right here. The difference was that he was in the clique and enjoying all the benefits it bestowed on its members. So he was one of the guys that got accommodations because he was one of the drinking buddies of the foreman, etc. Minutes?
It is 13 minutes.
Okay. In essence, I find myself excluded from the general core of things at work as well as at home. This bothered me greatly, and I found that there was something I was doing incorrectly, as I did not dovetail in any accepted social pattern. Since I developed no close friendship, there was no one I could turn to for advice. I was left to my own inclination and prosperity, so I drifted along as best as I could, and with no established goals in mind or anything for me. On weekends, when I was off of work, I would hang around the house doing the usual chores, taking my mother shopping. Where'd your mother like to go shopping at?
Huh?
Where'd your mother...
Slipco's, what was the other one, the other big grocery store? Tops.
Be Quick, Loblaws,
Yeah, Slipco's,
AMP.
yeah.
And when your mother went shopping, was she a fast shopper, or would she take her good old time?
No, she goes through the aisles and that, yeah.
Pretty quick.
Yeah. You want to watch the TV now?
Minutes? 1 second. Minutes? We gotta have a minute count.
We got 12.
Let's just...
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna end this chapter, and then we're gonna pick up on it tomorrow, and that'll be on chapter 17 tomorrow. That'll be the news of Renee's tragic death. So that's what we'll read tomorrow, okay, Mr. Jeckovich?
Okay.
All right,
All right,
shut
turn
down.
the TV on.
And I'll work on my paperwork